Well, hello. Today I'd like to do a little bit of watercolor painting. I'm going to be using this Fabriano Artistico watercolor paper. It's hot pressed, which means it has a really nice smooth surface, but I've never used my Daniel Smith watercolors with this paper, so it's going to be a bit of an experiment. And today the colors I'm going to be using are Rhodonite Genuine, let's see what else, Rose of Ultramarine, Piemonite Genuine, Ammonite Genuine, and Moonglow. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these paints prepared on my palette, and we'll get to painting. Before I get started on the painting, I just want to show you what I did. I had these tubes of Daniel Smith watercolor, and as I kept on squirting them out onto my palette and using them for a little while, and then finishing my artwork and then cleaning my palette off, I realized just how much of my paint I was wasting. And so I wanted to create my own palette. I didn't have any half pans. I was trying to think of what do I have around my house where I can just squeeze out the paint and let it dry, and then just add water whenever I want to use it, and then let it dry again. That way I'm not wasting paint. And I had a set of these, two sets of these, 6 divot palettes, and I just squeezed out a bit of watercolor paint and let it dry up, and like I said, add water whenever I want to reactivate it. And so far my even though the Daniel Smith watercolors last quite some time, I feel like they're lasting even longer now that I have them in a palette rather than taking them out of the tube and just washing off and wasting whatever excess paint that I don't use for that particular artwork. So I just wanted to let you know this is my little trick that I've been using for extending the life of my watercolors, especially when I invest a little bit of money in these. They do cost a little bit, and so making sure I get the most out of it is important to me. But on the other hand, I still want to feel free to use them as much as I would like in my artwork. So this is my way of sort of trying to find a good balance. So that being said, let's get to some painting. So I'm going to start with Rose of Ultramarine. Let's see how it goes. All right, nice and saturated. Let's add just a little water and see if we can draw that out a little bit. I like that I can get, a really saturated dark bit. But also these nice light bits as well. Then I'm going to go to my Rhodonite Genuine, a nice pink. Yeah, get those to connect a little bit. Going to add just a wee bit of Piemonite Genuine. Maybe like having one side that's a little darker, and then it sort of happily blends in over there. But I have a lot of, you know, sort of excess paint from that, so it makes me feel like I might want to add some right here as well. I wonder, let me turn it, see if I can get a different perspective. Wonder down here, I think I need a little bit more water. Just a wee bit. Yeah. And anything else? Okay. And let's see what else. I think just the tiniest bit. Okay, maybe not the tiniest. I make that sound really like I'm just going to add a few dots or something. Just a wee bit of Moonglow. These are like little clouds happening here. Alright, I'm happy with those. Maybe a little bit of Moonglow one other location. Let's see, where shall I add it? I think toying with right here, or right here. I'm going to add one more color later. I'm kind of feeling like over here, but I'm going to turn my page. This is what Zentangles has done to me. I no longer am happy to just work with a paper in one orientation. I feel the absolute need to be able to turn my page whenever my heart desires. And I think I'm going to see if I can make, I wonder if I want to make this a little darker. That's way dark. Let's add some water and get that. Hopefully it'll start blending into itself. We had just a little happy mistake water droplet right there. Another happy mistake water droplet. We'll see what happens with those. And then this kind of is feeling like it wants to extend into something. I don't know what yet. Maybe that looks pretty good. I like leaving these bits that contrast the light and the dark. I'm wondering about right here. Yeah, you can see some blooms happening there where I dropped the water. Anyways, I have one more color that I'd like to add. I do think it really is just going to be a little bit though. I always say that. And then I wind up covering the page. So let's see what happens. Alright. This is Ammonite genuine. Yeah, let that blend a little, that's nice. And I wonder if I want to put a little pop of it up here as well, like over here somewhere. I don't know about that. It mixed with the Piemonite genuine there. Well, that's quite interesting. Let's see, I've got some marks already here in the making. I think that some of this is dry enough to experiment with adding more blooms. So I'm getting some just water on my paintbrush. We'll see if this does anything. I'm laying my brush on its side to create a different shape than when you just put like dots of water. I know you can sort of see the shine, but I don't really see, it's going to take a moment to see if this is creating any actual blooms. Let's see if there's anywhere else I think we can have a bloom or two. Yeah, there's a big old one right there. Nope. But another thing I would really like is to pick up some color. So I just, with clean water, wiggle my brush on a spot and reactivate the paint there, pick it up, and then dab it with a clean towel, and it just picks up some of the paint. So it's another technique for mark making, another way to make cool dots. Got 3 of them there. Let's see, I think maybe one here. And I'm doing dots, but you can do these, you can make lines, you know, you can pick up the paint however your heart desires. I might do a line just for fun. A wiggly line. Just pick up that paint. And let's see if I can get my towel in there to get all, I could probably leave it. Just to pick up a little bit of that water. Maybe do a few more lines so that one isn't all by itself. So I just have some water, clean water on my brush. Just reactivating the paint down there. Let's see, maybe kind of like unmark making. Like, I'm still obviously making marks, but I'm making marks by subtracting rather than adding. I'm adding by subtracting? How interesting. Anyways, I'm not going to get into this is not a math lesson. I'm not getting into math lessons right now. I think maybe just one more down here to balance. I don't know. Let's see. That's neat. I kind of like that. Yeah, I'm satisfied with those little wiggles. So let's see, anything else? I don't know if there are any more areas where blooming could be a thing. I think one thing I didn't like, so many blooms right here, and this was so pigmented, you could see that even though this is like fine watercolor, you know, adding so much water has had this sort of broken up. You can see the little bits of paint, but I'm not too fussed about it. I'm just noting it. Let's see, anything else that I want to attempt while I'm here? I kind of want about these little dots. I kind of want, oh, there's another like random drop. More blooms happening over there then. Another dot, maybe right here. Anything else? I'm sort of skipping this area because this is where we added, you can, I don't know if you can see it well. That's where we added some water trying to get blooms. So I'm not necessarily wanting to put any of these sort of lifted dots, but over here might be a good spot. And maybe one over here. All right. So I think I'm satisfied with this for now. It'll be interesting to see in the end what orientation I might like. Is there anything else I want to add? No. For now, I'm satisfied. All right, we're going to leave it like that until it dries. So as I mentioned, here are some of the supplies I'm using for mark making. I have a variety of Pigmamicron pens. This one is brown, and I really like using this one when I want something a little bit more subtle than what you'll get with the black. And then I have Posca pens, both ivory and white. I have black as well, but when I have a Pigma pen, I'd rather just use a Pigma. I have these Stabilo Woody pens, and the Neocolor II, and here's that jelly roll pen that adds just a little bit of glitter. I might also, if I feel the urge, add some white or black squiggles using these fine tip applicators. And then if I really feel the urge, I have some sort of stencil or stamp that I can add using, this is just one of those, it was advertised as a can opener to help you grip the lid of any sort of jar or can, or yeah, jar, not can, what am I talking about? And some regular old, this is just nothing fancy, sort of like those acrylic paints, Art Deco acrylic paints that come in sort of like this plastic container. So yeah, nothing fancy here, but I like to use sort of what I can find around the house to create my art instead of always having to purchase fancy art supplies. So this might come out, we'll see, if we feel the urge. so let's go ahead and take a look. Scooch all this over to the side. Yeah, sounds good. Here's what we got. And first thing I'm thinking is I really liked sort of these dots here, but I want a few more of them. I wonder if I can go ahead and see if I can reactivate some of this to create a few more of these dots. Just lift up some of that paint, even though it's now dry. Yeah. Maybe another one here. And maybe one up here. Okay, let's see if I can lift some of those up using my dry towel. Yeah, just a few more. That looks good to me. Alright, what else do I want to add? I like taking this Ammonite Genuine and starting with some turquoise dots there. And then letting them, especially with the shape that's sort of moving up and out, let them sort of move on into the other colors. I don't know, maybe it's going to create a trail into the other colors. Or maybe it's going to spread out into the other colors. Gotta put a few. Oh, I like it can sort of connect with this one here. And then I'll just put sort of a few that are just feeling a little scattered. Any other one? Oh, one little, I don't know how that happened, but I might as well put a dot there then. One here too. Okay, kind of like that. Now, what else shall we add? So I'm not one of those people who's like this sort of frenetic, let's add this and that. I do admittedly wind up adding way too much, but my process is usually pretty slow, to be honest. Maybe those ideas of like, ooh, let's try this and let's try that. It takes me a moment to ponder before I can really get those ideas flowing. I love the texture of these Neocolor II crayons. Just makes me happy to use them. And then a few strays. I feel like more strays. Okay. So we've got some sort of crayon dots and lines. We might be done with, I don't know, I have this yummy green. I really like it. Let's see. I'm kind of feeling maybe I do and don't want to add something like right here, or maybe going that way and up. I always like some sort of curvy movement. Just gonna let it sort of meander its way up and go where it would like. I'm gonna leave a little curl there. I might want another curl. That feels good to me. I like this green, and I like little surprise little curls like that. Those are fun. Okay. Maybe one like right there. I like that. Alright, I think I'm done with the crayon. I definitely have to tell myself I'm done, or else I'll continue with that material and just add and add and add. Okay. I think I do like a little bit of white posca dots. I like that when there are these areas that are lighter, sort of peeking out from darker areas, adding little dots to sort of draw the eye there. Sort of enhances the contrast. I think same thing over here. I really need to slow down when I put in my posca dots. I tend to like to put them in very fast, and then I get a few that are not dots. Instead, they are just streaks, and while I'm sure that could be okay, I don't quite like the streaks. I like dots. So I'm attempting to deliberately slow down. Oh, see, I keep getting, what am I doing there? I need to put down something so that I'm not making a mess on my page. See, I got a little bit of a streak there. I need to slow down. Yeah, it just sort of really enhances the contrast there. I really like that. But I'm going over to some of these, let's turn this around. Zentangler in me just has to turn it every single way. I'm thinking about some of these areas where we lifted, and I wonder, would it be cool to put some dots in there? Let's try it. I do attempt to remind myself that when I'm working on these smaller pages, this is a 4x6, I believe. What did the page say? Oh no, it's a 5x7. I have to remember that I can't add all the dots. I can easily overdo it, and I need to remind myself. Slow down and be thoughtful about your mark making. Alright, so that's my white. I think I might think about using the ivory, and I wonder about our little wiggles here. I really like them, but I kind of want to, I know they're already interesting, but I kind of want to put something there that'll bring the eye to that space a little bit more. So I'm thinking, shall I add a line, or shall I put in stripes or dots? Let's think. Maybe if I put it that way. That way I can draw and it's closer to the side. It's easier for my hand to get to. So my first inclination is to put dots. We have so many dots. My second inclination is to put some stripes. But for me, that'll turn these into like Zentangly worms. And so I don't know if I want to do that. The third inclination is to put just a sort of a stripe or a line down the middle. I'm going to go with the dots. That was my first inclination. Now these I'm definitely going to go slower and press a little harder so that they're a little bit thicker, a little bit more substantial than the white dots we were adding. Helps me to slow down just a little. Yeah, I like these. I like the ivory because it's just a little bit more subtle than the white. I like that. All right, anything else that I want to add? We've got some interesting stuff already. Let's see. I kind of want to add either some white or black using this fine line applicator. But the question is to add white or black. It's already a little bit dark. The white might be fun. That's an option. Another one is some white oil pastel marks, or a combination of both. I think maybe, what if I put some of these, whoa, excuse me, just 1 second, dropped the thing. Some black marks and then white oil pastel. And those will be just the last two things that we do, because we'll have to wait for this is sumi ink in that fine tip applicator. I have found that the sumi ink is a little bit too liquidy, so in the future I definitely want something just a little bit more viscous. So I'm on the search for that, but for now this will do. Let's see, what do I want? Okay, let's do it. Just let it happen. Whatever happens is what happens. Alright, so what I'll do is let those swirly swirls dry, and then I'll probably add some highlights to them, and then we'll see about adding just a little bit of white oil pastel. Alright, let's let this dry. Alright, our sumi ink is all dry, and I remember I had some of these, and you can still see a little bit, a bit of turquoise smudging here, so I'm just taking a plain old eraser. I know you can get squishy, squishy, kneadable art erasers to do things like this. But what I have at home is a plain old, like, school eraser. And that seems to be doing just fine. I'm sure it's makes more of a mess with these little eraser bits than the kneadable fancy art erasers, but for me right now that does just the trick. Okay, and then from my Zentangle drawing, one of the things that I'm really obsessed with, as you can probably sort of hear, is using a posca pen, a white posca pen, to add some shines. I love adding shines. So that means just here and there, a little white bit, just hinting to the eye that this is a shiny thing. And I usually add them wherever there's some sort of curve. I like to add them on black, but I've also, like these, on these turquoise, I might add some cream dots just like I had here. So we'll see about that. First, let's do one thing at a time, Christina. Let's stick to adding shines to our Sumi ink. So sometimes it's a line, sometimes it's a line and a dot, sort of alternate without thinking much about it. Like here, there's this black dot, which you might miss, or here too, but once you add a little bit of a shine, it just draws your eye to that spot, and you're like, oh, there's a thing there. Alright. Just those little dots make it so, I just want to put one here to show, maybe, and another one here to show the movement of the black ink as opposed to just the, you know, it sort of blending in with this Moonglow that's here. Alright, I think I'm satisfied with those. Do I want to add? I think I might add just a few, maybe. Again, it just brings your eye to these really beautiful turquoise bits. Maybe not everyone will get one. Maybe just a few. But it's enough to add just a little bit of interest. Alright, I like that. I'm satisfied. Now, I think for the final bit, I'm just going to use my Sennelier white oil pastel, and I was thinking adding it like a little arch right here. Let's see. Sometimes I have to just not think about it and let my hand do some things and see how it goes. Yeah, let's go over that. How do I feel about right down there? Maybe another right here. And another here. Another aberrant one over there. want it to be this sweeping arch that just flows through. Maybe. Yeah, I might be satisfied with that. Maybe. Maybe. I think I might. I think I am. So I like that there are so many different little bits of marks to grab your attention, and some of them give some movement. Like I like the curve of these lines to give a little bit of movement down here, and you've definitely got the black ink drawing your eye up, and you've got the curve here drawing your eye up, and the fun little dots. Oh, I like the horizontal lines because so much of it is just dots and flowing, moving, wiggling, and then these dots sort of, or these lines, I feel sort of ground you in a little bit of like, okay, wait a minute, let me give you some horizontal or vertical lines here just to sort of set the stage. So overall, I think this is all done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a lovely time watching me paint this lovely little masterpiece, and I hope that you can give it a go as well. I'd love to see your creations. Feel free to tag me on Instagram so I can see what you create, and I hope you join me again next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.